The Sanskrit word mool means root or base. Adhara means substratum or support. So the Muladhara is the fundamental root or base or framework of our individual human existence. The Muladhara is situated at the perineum in men, midway between the anus and the genitals, a centimeter or so above the skin surface. In women, it is at the cervix, where the vagina and the uterus join. There, it is approximately 2 to 3 centimeters inside the body. From Muladhara, there are 3 major nadis or energy pathways: the Ida, the mental, the Pingala, the physical, and the Shushumna, the spiritual, and they rise up to make their ascent via the other chakras, crisscrossing through the chakras, and end up in Agnya Chakra, the wisdom chakra behind the third eye. Muladhara is directly linked to the Agnya Chakra in the midbrain. Thus, by stimulating the Muladhara, it is possible to awaken one's intuitive faculties. In Tantra and Yoga, Kundalini is believed to reside in the Muladhara Chakra, coiled like a sleeping snake, the base from which the possibility of higher realization arises. Muladhara is the lowest chakra in human beings, but the highest in animals. When a person's consciousness resides here, they are unconscious in themselves. But when an awakening begins to take place in the Muladhara, the individual's understanding and awareness begins to unfold. Muladhara is the center where one is most entirely self-centered and concerned with obtaining personal security like money, material objects, food, etc. The karmas of a previous stage of evolution manifest in the form of anger, greed, jealousy, passion, love, hatred, sleep in the Muladhara. According to Sankhya philosophy, Muladhara is symbolic of the earth, Prithvi Tattva, and is closely related to the sense of smell and the nose and the locomotion of the legs. In Sankhya philosophy, the concept of Muladhara is understood as Mula Prakriti. The whole universe and all its objects must have some basis from which they evolve and to which they return after dissolution. This great potential is said to be lying dormant in the form of a coiled serpent. And when aroused, it makes its way upwards through the Shushumna Nadi in the spinal cord until it reaches Sahasrara, just above the top of the head, where the ultimate experience of enlightenment occurs. Therefore, the awakening of Muladhara is considered to be of great importance in Kundalini Yoga. Most people feel hesitant and shy about believing that Kundalini is in Muladhara Chakra and claim it to be in Manipur because they do not want to associate this holy Kundalini Shakti with the unholy sexual system. However, the tiny gland of Muladhara Chakra contains infinite energy, and that many psychic and spiritual experiences originate from Muladhara. Just because Muladhara is situated in the sexual region, this does not make it an impure center. In Tantra, Muladhara is considered as a serpent energy, and it is called Mahakal, meaning great or endless time. Here, Kundalini is lying in the womb of unconscious, beyond time and space. When Kundalini begins to manifest, it enters the dimension of personality and individuality and becomes subject to time and space. And that is the awakening of the great serpent power within the individual form and consciousness of a person. However, in most people, it is dormant. In its awakened state, Kundalini Shakti represents our spiritual potential. But in its dormant state, it represents that instinctive level of life which supports our basic existence. Both possibilities lie in Muladhara. The tanmatra or sense associated with Muladhara is the smell, the nose, and it is here that the psychic smells manifest. The Jnanendriya or sensory organ is the nose, and the Karmendriya, the organ of activity, is the anus. Muladhara awakening is often accompanied by itchy sensations around the coccyx or anus, and the sense of smell becomes so acute that offensive odors are difficult to bear. Muladhara is the direct switch for awakening Agnya Chakra at the third eye. It belongs to Bhuloka, the first plane of mortal existence, and it is the chief center of Apana. Muladhara is also the seat of the Annamaya Kosha, the physical body, the body of nourishment, connected with the absorption of food and evacuation of feces. By meditating on Kundalini in the Muladhara chakra, a person becomes lord of speech, a monarch, and an adept in all kinds of learning. He or she becomes ever free from all diseases and remains cheerful at all times. Muladhara is the base from which the three main psychic channels or energies, the nadis, emerge and flow up the spinal cord. It is said that Ida, the mental force, emerges from the left of the Muladhara, and Pingala, the vital or physical force, from the right side, and Shushumna, the spiritual force, from the center. According to Tantra, this emanation point is highly volatile. When the positive and negative forces of Ida and Pingala are completely balanced, an awakening is sparked off here, which arouses the dormant Kundalini. Usually, this state of balance between Ida and Pingala nadis can only be achieved sporadically and for short durations. This may be sufficient to trigger a mild awakening, in which Kundalini rises as far as Svadhisthana or Manipur and then drops back to Muladhara again. Therefore, in Hatha Yoga practices, particularly those of pranayama, are very important in Kundalini Yoga because they purify and rebalance the psychic flows, the nadis. Once the state of balance between Ida and Pingala nadi becomes steady and ongoing, the awakening engendered in Muladhara becomes explosive, and Kundalini rises with great force, overcoming all obstacles in its path until it reaches its ultimate destination in Sahasrara. Many people have experiences in meditation when they feel the Shakti rising through the spinal cord from Muladhara to the brain. However, in most cases, this is not the awakening of Kundalini, but rather a release of pranic force called Prana Utthana. This preliminary awakening starts from Muladhara and ascends the spinal cord via Pingala Nadi. In this kind of awakening, the experience of Shakti is rarely sustained. It does prepare the aspirant, the sadhaka, for the eventual awakening of Kundalini. Muladhara and sexual expression. Awakening of Muladhara chakra is very important. Firstly, because it is the seat of Kundalini, and secondly, because it is the seat of great tamas or inertia. All of the passions are stored in Muladhara. All the guilt, every complex, and every agony has its root here. This chakra is physiologically related to the excretory and urinary and sexual reproductive organs. Our life, desires, actions, and accomplishments are controlled by sexual desires, and whatever we do in life is an expression of that root or base chakra, the Muladhara. Our lower samskaras and karmas are embedded there, and in lower incarnations, our whole being is founded on the sexual personality. Sexual fulfillment and sexual frustrations control our lives. If sexual urges are removed from life, everything will change. Often we react to sexual life on account of bitter experiences, and we vow never to follow the same path again. We are fed up, and on account of that, we say no more. But this is not a solution. It is only a reaction, and not the permanent structure of our mind. Unless Muladhara chakra is purified, its corresponding center in the brain will always remain tamasic. We can live the same type of life as we do today, but we can make it much better. Sexual relationships are not a sin, but the consciousness must awaken, and the purpose of the whole act must be transmuted. It is clearly stated in Tantra that the purpose of the sexual act is threefold, and these threefold purposes depend on the level and frequency of one's mind. Some people practice it for procreation, others for pleasure or release of stress and tension, and some practice it to open the window to samadhi. They are only concerned with awakening and experiencing and then sublimating it. Through that experience, they open the higher centers. There is another important thing we should all understand. A person who has controlled their lower impulses, a yogi who is practicing high sadhana, does not have to give up his or her partner and the marital relationship. If you think that to be a yogi you must give up sex, why don't you also give up eating and sleeping? Yoga has nothing to do with giving up these things. It is only concerned with transforming their purpose and meaning to a spiritual goal. The greatest mistake mankind has been making for thousands of years is that man has been fighting with himself. He wants to renounce sex, but he's not been able to do it. Therefore, it is important that Muladhara awakening takes place, because then you can make your mind totally free. When awakening takes place in Muladhara, many things explode into conscious awareness, in the same way that an erupting volcano pushes to the surface of things that are hidden beneath the earth. With the awakening of Kundalini, there is simultaneous awakening of things from the unconscious field of human existence, which one may not have had prior conscious knowledge of whatsoever. When Muladhara awakens, a number of phenomena occur. The first thing many practitioners experience is levitation of the astral body. One has the sensation of floating upward in space, leaving the physical body behind. This is due to the energy of Kundalini, whose ascending momentum causes the astral body to disassociate from the physical and move upwards. And this differs from what is normally called levitation, and that is the actual displacement or rising of the physical body. Besides astral levitation, one sometimes experiences psychic phenomena such as clairvoyance or clairaudience. Other common manifestations include movements or increasing warmth in the area of the coccyx, or a creeping sensation like something moving slowly up the spinal cord. These sensations result from the ascension of Shakti or the awakening of the Kundalini. In most cases, when the Shakti reaches Manipur chakra, it begins to descend to Muladhara again. Sometimes the practitioner feels that the energy ascends to the top of the head, but usually only a very small portion of the Shakti is able to pass beyond Manipur. Repeated earnest attempts are necessary for the further ascension of Kundalini. But once Kundalini passes Manipur chakra, serious obstacles are rarely encountered. However, when Kundalini is ascending from Muladhara to Swadhisthana, the sadhaka experiences a crucial period in which all his or her repressed emotions, especially those of a more primal nature, express themselves. Passions mount during this period, and all kinds of infatuations ensue, making the sadhaka extremely irritable and unstable at times. One day he or she may sleep deeply for hours together. The next day may get up at 1 or 2 in the morning to take a bath and meditate. He or she becomes very passionate, loud, and talkative, while other times he or she is silent. At this stage, the sadhaka often expresses a great fondness for singing. During this period of intensest psychic and emotional upheaval, the guidance of a qualified and understanding guru is essential. Although some people may regard this emotional turmoil as the indication of a great fall, the guru will assure each and every aspirant that it is an essential part of spiritual life which will accelerate their evolution. If this explosion does not take place, the same purging process will still occur, but very slowly, as problems arise and work themselves out, life after life. Muladhara is one of the most important and exciting, but also disturbing of the psychic energy centers, which are awakened through the practices of Kundalini Yoga. For this reason, the awakening of Agnya Chakra should always accompany Muladhara awakening. The mental faculties of Agnya Chakra at the third eye give the practitioner an ability to witness the events of Muladhara awakening objectively with greater understanding. This makes the whole experience less disturbing and traumatic. When Agnya is awakened, you will find that Muladhara is the easiest of the chakras to awaken. The gross mind can concentrate on this center and manipulate it with ease. As your body and mind begin to break their animal bonds, your awareness expands and you're able to envision the greater possibility of your creative potential. Namaste.